Aston Martin and Adrian Newey have opened up for the first time as to what we can expect for the team this year, but especially next year and beyond. And their ideas might shock some fans. Could they well and truly be on their way to return to the front of the grid again? Aston Martin scored their first points since Miami at the Spanish Grand Prix, thanks to local hero Fernando Alonso. The Spaniard was comfortably quick enough to qualify for Q3, but his performance dipped marginally on Sunday. Despite improvements to the AMR25, Aston Martin remains firmly in the midfield scrap, requiring high-level execution to secure points. But it's looking like that won't be the issue for long anymore. With even Sauber outscoring the British team in Spain, last weekend served as a reminder that Aston Martin's best chance of climbing the field comes in 2026. Luckily for Aston Martin, Adrian Newey and his technical team are focusing all of their efforts here, and so far, Newey sees more possibilities in the new regulations than he anticipated. F1's most recent triple header exposed a number of critical truths about Aston Martin for 2025, but things are changing for 2026. One of these is unquestionably positive: enhanced wind tunnel correlation and the utilization of development tools. Their improvements at Imola have made them significantly more competitive, unlocking crucial tenths that might transform the course of their season. While dependability and strategy cost Aston and Fernando Alonso valuable points in Imola and Monaco, being able to finish in the top 10 on merit is a considerable improvement. At the same time, Sauber's performance at the Spanish Grand Prix serves as a reminder of how much ground Aston Martin has lost over the last 18 months. Their new upgrades may aid with damage limitation, but 2026 represents their best shot at redemption. Adrian Newey and his staff are aware of this, which is why their attention is orientated towards the new regulations. Newey has expressed optimism about the possibility of the 2026 automobiles. He reveals that Aston Martin is currently working on many concepts. We're pursuing various avenues. Whether those are different avenues to other, and whether they will be a better avenue than others, we've got no idea. That's part of the intrigue of F1, especially when you get these big rules changes. It's always difficult when you have a big regulation change like this, and all teams are resource limited. Because of the budget cap, and simply because of staffing levels, the team shapes the approach to a certain extent. One area of our team that needs to grow is the aerodynamics department. But, in the short term, that means we've got to decide which directions are going to be the most fruitful, and really concentrate on those. Newey's analysis sheds light on Aston Martin's future direction. The Silverstone-based organisation now has modern facilities and cutting-edge infrastructure, putting them in a good position going into 2026. These new technologies, however, must not take away from the team's requirement to integrate and efficiently use them. Adrian Newey, who has won dozens of world championships, is best positioned to lead Aston Martin in their bid to become frontrunners. This is a demanding and sensitive process. Therefore, Aston's focus on this year's model will be limited. Another upgrade package for the AMR25 is still in the works, with a release date in Europe. However, these elements, like Sauber's upcoming improvements, would have been designed several months ago. For months, Aston has focused their wind tunnel allocation, concept work, and engineering efforts on the 2026 car. This provides the British squad the best chance of establishing itself as the frontrunners next season. And Newey isn't doing it alone, as the appointment of Adrian Newey has resulted in a total change at Aston Martin, with the team unaware that it would spark a flood of personnel eager to join the organisation. That is the revelation made by former F1 driver turned Aston Martin ambassador Pedro de la Rosa, who described the change as tremendous since Newey began working for Aston Martin in March. Following his departure from Red Bull, Newey, whose designs have led to a total of 26 World Championship wins, signed on the dotted line with Aston Martin, taking on the newly established post of managing technical partner and becoming a shareholder in the team. Newey has been entrusted with understanding the approaching new rulebook for F1 2026 when revised chassis and engine regulations take effect, and Aston Martin begins their era with Honda power. while Newey attended his first race with the team at the Monaco Grand Prix. Speaking with the media, De La Rosa explained that, "I was never told that Adrian Newey was going to be signed when he became Aston Martin's ambassador in 2022. The Brit was not an available target until 2024. But since Newey came through the door after that massive deal was sealed," De La Rosa said Aston Martin has become the place where more and more people want to work, and it is an added benefit of adding Newey, which the team did not anticipate. "The change is tremendous," he declared. "Since the announcement that Newey was coming to us, there has been a total change. More people want to come and work at Aston Martin, from all the teams and especially from the universities. It's something no one realized could happen, but it is happening because young engineers want to work with the big names to learn more quickly." In England, there is a spectacular market for engineers because within a radius of 100 kilometers, there are practically all the teams in the world. Attracting talent is very important, and having Adrian has an effect of attraction, of inspiration to the new generations, to all those engineers who want to be Formula One engineers and who want to work with Newey to learn from him. That's something that sometimes you don't value. We always look at Adrian Newey as the figure who makes winning cars, but for us it's very important the new generation of Neweys who want to work with him, because they will be the future of Aston Martin. Sometimes we focus on the big names, but teams win for everything. For the big names, but also for unsung heroes who will one day fill that role. The most beautiful thing about Aston Martin is to see the internal transformation that is happening, the growth. We were about 600 people when I joined, and now we are more than 900 people. Newey's appointment was part of Aston Martin team owner Lawrence Stroll's overall investment in the team, which also included the construction of a new factory and wind tunnel. Aston Martin is hoping to regain momentum after a recent drop in results, having not finished on the podium since 2023, and it's looking more and more likely it will happen again next year. And who would have thought, especially seeing where they came from? When Aston Martin returned to Formula One 4 years ago, the ambition was broader than just finishing on top of the podium. Lawrence Stroll's long-term goal for a championship-winning squad has been widely publicised, but there's another plan in the works at the AMR Technology campus, led by Chief Marketing Officer Rob Bloom. He joined Aston Martin from McLaren in 2021 with one clear goal in mind: to create the most culturally relevant F1 team on the grid. "This is one of the most exciting projects in world sport right now," Bloom said. "We've gone from 350 people to 900 people in 4 years. It is a remarkable transformation of a team that has a very clear vision, which is to win in Formula One heritage-rich teams, such as Ferrari or Williams, may rely on tradition, whereas Red Bull built its name as the paddock's party disruptor in the 2000s. Bloom recognized a chance to steer Aston Martin, a 112-year-old luxury brand, in a new direction that embraced fandom, community, and culture. "We were a startup in so many ways because we had this opportunity to do F1 differently," he explained. "We set ourselves up as a brand as much as a sports team, and there's not many people who are thinking that way." That mindset led to an in-house creative structure more commonly found in fashion houses than in the paddock. "Our direction and creative identity are incredibly considered," he added. "If we want to tell stories through the lens of the Aston Martin style, we need talent who can do that in a sophisticated way." The Aston Martin look is visually magnificent and commensurate with a history automobile brand. Yet, diversity is an important part of the team. Given the typical price of James Bond's favourite sports cars, the concept almost seems out of place. "We talk about ourselves as an inclusive exclusive brand, perhaps the most inclusive exclusive brand in world sport," Bloom said. "And that brand is now aiming to become a race winner and eventually follow it up by becoming a world championship winning team. So, will that happen in the new era led by Adrian Newey? What do you think? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below.